Hey guys, welcome to another live episode of Comics and Sweet Tea. So happy to be back live with you guys. Hope you've had a good week so far. It's Hump Day, so we got a few more days left to go. Got the campaign going for End of Days on Kickstarter. If you haven't checked that out, be sure and do that. I've got the link in my bio on my Instagram page, and I'm pretty sure I put it down up under Robert's link in this show. So check down the description. We're going to be talking about Robert's first and foremost. So be sure and jump down in the link. His will be on top. Be sure and get on that. Um, and check that out right now. Hold on. Trying to get signed up on the Instagram page, and we're having a little bit of difficulty signing up. Not sure what's going on. Let's see. Hold on, guys. Bear with me. I've got stuff scattered everywhere. Oh, boy, I tell you, I'm a professional. If you believe that one, I'll tell you another one. But yeah, you got a lot of technical difficulties. They're the story of my life. Um, Trying to get it set up on the Instagram page too. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, preview. Let's see. Yeah, things are just not wanting to go. Okay, so Instagram is completely out of luck. But anyway, without further ado, I'm gonna bring in, I'm gonna bring in Robert Garcia. Boy, I tell you, you gotta love this shit, man. You think you got everything
Oh yeah,
lined up, and it just goes to shit right at the last minute.
that is the TV world. I can't tell you. I don't know if you and I have talked about it for a little while. I mean, about it a little bit, but I worked. I spent 12 years, I would say, in the TV business, and so I worked as a reporter, also as an anchor. Worked,
Okay, yeah, well, I didn't know that.
yeah,
That's fucking awesome, dude.
yeah. I used to be a crime reporter, and also covered some politics. I always say this: the two areas that I covered that I hated the most were sports and politics because you just meet the most entitled bleeps out there. So,
You can
that
cuss, man. You know how I am. You can cuss on this
Jeez,
show.
like the worst of humanity. But yeah, covered a lot of crime and that kind of tied into this book. I mean, that's kind of like what this book was about. This book was about me going out there and putting these stories together that I had been journaling because I was actually going to write a book, not just a comic book. And one of the best things about going live is that, yeah, like you said, everything goes down the shitter. Oh,
Exactly. I feel like
especially
Randy Quaid on
yeah,
A Christmas Vacation. Shitter's broke
yeah, exactly.
or shitter's
Like
full.
it's like all the time. I remember. I mean, you just like you go live. Obviously, if you go live from a scene that's got a lot of people out there, you're just waiting for somebody to come up and mess with you as you're trying to do the live, yelling in the background, and so on. And it's just like it's just hectic. But one of the funniest things that I ever covered, and I actually so. I'm not trying to brag here, Jerry, but I actually, would come out on CNN and things like that. So,
Oh, holy shit, man.
when I moved to Austin, I covered when somebody basically Molotov cocktailed the governor's mansion, right? And
Okay.
I think back when Rick Perry was too good for the mansion. He didn't want to stay in that old decrepit thing, so he had his own place. And I don't think people knew this. Long story short, somebody throws a Molotov cocktail, lights up like the whole front of it. It actually like burns some stuff on the inside. And I go live the next morning, right? And I've got to go live like at 8 a.m. because CNN wants to cover these feeds. And if you
Right.
know anything about Austin, Texas, it's like, I mean, you're from the South. It's hotter than shit. And you've got
Oh, God.
humidity out the yin yang. So I'm in a light blue shirt. And as the day goes, the light blue shirt's becoming darker and darker blue. And by about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I went from a blue shirt,
Feel it
light
all.
blue,
Yeah.
to just a dark blue, just dripping sweat, just dripping, out there for, I think I did a whole 8-hour shift out there, and it was just lives. And it was like, I do a live for the TV station, a live for CNN, a live for this, a live for that, little recorded packages. And yeah, it was crazy. But you get to see a lot of cool things. And I would say my best experience, my most fun experience was out in Tucson, Arizona, where, man, Tucson puts the wild in Wild Wild West. I mean, it was, I covered everything from rabid skunks attacking cats and people's small dogs to legit like coyote and like illegal smugglers trying to bring in immigrants. And
Right.
they're not going to get caught. If you know anything about smugglers, when they're coming in with those vans and they've got people in them, doesn't matter if it's Border Patrol, who it is, they're going to fire back. And I'm talking, we used to automatically get live real quick on CNN because they'd be like, yeah, we got to shoot out in the streets of Tucson. Boop, and they would just pop a satellite for us so we could go live for them. So we had some crazy times, had some fun stuff out there.
Wow. That sounds incredible, man.
It was a great experience.
As much as we've talked,
yeah,
I've heard you mention stuff about anchoring and stuff like that, but I wasn't sure, we've never really talked about it. We were too busy talking nerd shit.
Yep. It was it's a cool experience. And also did radio, well, still do radio. Because I've written in TV news, written in TV sports, but also do a lot of sports coverage. And you and I have talked about that before. So it's like I still do the sports radio stuff, but the TV stuff, that was it was a whirlwind. I mean, it was just crazy stuff. So how you been, my friend? We just talked a couple days ago.
Man, I've been good, man. I've been busy. I tell you what, we've got a certain somebody waiting backstage. I'm gonna go ahead and bring him in.
Oh yeah, it's just a little late where he's at across the pond.
Yeah, just a little bit. Let's bring him in here.
Hey, hold on, I want to show you something. Look at this handsome man. Look at that guy. Look at that guy there. Look at that, Mr. Media. for Scott as well. Scott, you're working with a star, damn it. You see that? You're working with a star. I can't get this focus right. Old media badge.
Can you hear me okay?
Got you loud and proud, dude. It's got to be, I would say late, but it's early there, isn't it?
It is when you have a 3-week-old baby.
Oh, wow, man. Congratulations on the baby. That's outstanding.
Thank you.
I've known Scott for 3 years, and I begged him, but he wouldn't put any part of my name into his son's name, so I'm a bit hurt by that, but
I would be offended. Yeah. Thank you so much for your time, Scott. I know it's super early there. Like you said, I know you were probably up because I know all about 3-week-old babies. I had 2. Mine are grown. I've got my first grandchild. She's already through that stage, but I know all about it, buddy.
Oh.
It's a learning curve. It's my first, so it's definitely a learning curve for sure.
Man, all I can tell you is treasure every second because they go by so quick, man.
Yes.
You'll blink and they'll be grown. It's crazy.
I told Scott that already. I mean, sadly, when you have a kid, what happens next is you become old as fuck.
Yeah, pretty much.
Blink of an eye, man.
Yeah.
You're like, I was 30, and now I'm 50 something. It's like your life just whizzes by. It's crazy.
And you find yourself turning into your parents.
It's so sad. I know. So sad.
You really do. It happens, man.
The salt and pepper beard.
Oh yeah, that's what happened here. Well, Jerry's sporting it all over the place.
Yeah, I'm thinking about just going all white. My wife said just a little more weight and a little more white in the beard, and I won't have to wear a costume.
There you go,
like Santa Claus at Christmas time. So
dude, you can make some money. There's a company on Shark Tank that hires a bunch of Santas. So there you go, my friend. Some seasonal income.
Working offshore and playing Santa Claus.
Oh yeah, you won't need Kickstarter no more, Jerry. You won't need a damn Kickstarter. Let's see. Let's get some beautiful views out here of North Austin. Yeah, it's all dark.
Wow. So anyway,
yes, sir.
Let's get right to it. One question first, though. I've got to ask this. What has been your guys' creative process together? Did you kind of go the Marvel method, or did you go the script way and kind of give Scott some leeway to, are y'all just kind of 50-50 on this thing, and kind of you throw this at him, he throws this back at you? I mean, kind of show me, take me through y'all's work relationship.
I'm gonna let Scott answer that.
Okay.
It's definitely changed now from when it was from we did issue three together, first of all.
Right.
And that was very much kind of like learning each other's process. Whereas now we're just kind of like, we're just in the zone now. We know exactly how each other works, and it's a lot easier. And I think we're producing better work there's nothing wrong with the work in issue 3.
Oh yeah.
But the work coming in now in issue 5 is just phenomenal, because we respect each other as creators. And I think that I respect Robert respects my creativity. And the one thing we do is, I take feedback, it's not criticism, it's how do we get the page to the best it can be, each panel page. And I think as well, Robert, in issue 3 would look at a page immediately, but now he sort of sits on it for a day, which is fun. And then if he, instead of like, analyzing it immediately, he sits on it for a day, looks at it, and but that's how he's developed as well, as a creator. So he's sort of like just having a look at it, giving it a bit more time to digest the page before he sort of gives the, any critiques or anything like that. So, but that's something we've done now on issue 5, whereas in issue 3 it was a hot mess.
Yeah, learning. I mean, for Scott,
Leave you honest, man.
I guess think about it, Scott. I mean, issue 3 was your second comic because you did Valaro.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm going to tout up Scott right now, okay? Because I mean, first off, Scott's been with Retribution from the very beginning, because he's been doing he did covers for us, he did stickers for us, he's done variant covers. He did one of my favorite ones was the Iron Maiden cover, Number of the Beast, where we had Chi holding R. It's just an immaculate cover. If you didn't get it, it's gone. So I apologize. Maybe one day, I don't know, maybe one day Scott will make some prints if you still have that thing, but it is just wicked. Long story short, I'm a fanboy, right? So everybody who works on this team, I became a fan of because I saw their work or I found something. I contacted Scott 3 years ago. I love the artwork he does. He's back then I would say was more of a character artist. He's got 50,000 plus fans. I mean, he just does this. He's got this really cool look that I love. The only thing was back then it really didn't suit what we do in the comic. So as we continue to work, he does the first variant cover. And I'm like, yeah, this is wicked. It's something different. So it was cool as a variant cover. And then when he did the Iron Maiden one, I'm like, you know what? I'm like, this guy's kind of getting there. And so my dream had always been each issue was going to be with a different artist. But if you're a writer and you're a creator and you are not an artist, you understand quickly when you go through about 5 different artists, 6 different artists, finding somebody who's dependable, finding somebody who is not only open to feedback, but is, I hate saying it this way, but confident enough to provide that feedback to the creator, to the writer, make it a two-way street. You've got somebody good, and I got Scott. And what's crazy is that to see what he's done on his Instagram page, and you look at all the character work, which is just awesome. Man, his Spider-Man Spider-Verse stuff is just freaking insane. I love what he's done in that world. But you see how he's morphed that artistic style to what he's done with Retribution. And we talk about it. And I ask him all the time, like, how the hell do you do that? But as far as what our style is, I call it Retribution style because I just throw in stuff. I don't know. I would say maybe like 20% of the pages I provide some kind of like real feedback on, but it's just like Julia. Oops. Oh, there's just like, Julia, who's the other artist on the book. After the first issue, I was like, you know what? She's phenomenal. I trust her. And then from then I send them, like, I literally send them just basically dialogue. I don't even do like a lot of scenes. I just tell them, but if it's something specific and I want something, I'm going to put it in there. After that, I let them be creative. And what Scott's been able to bring to the table is just amazing, especially with chapter 5. And I mean, he is showing me stuff that I don't. This is not bragging, because every con I do, people are just amazed by the artwork that we have in these books, and it keeps elevating. And Scott's taking it to another level on chapter 5, and I'm just like, wow. So as far as how we work, I get him scripts on the pages that I believe there should be some guidance, or I want something specific because the story ties in personal traumas, it ties in some professional traumas that I was experienced to, and so on. Then there'll be some guidance there. But as far as like what we're doing with Retribution, how he's positioned, this and that, that's my man Scott and my gal Julia. I mean, they're just fantastic.
Yeah, and I mean, if I've got any sort of questions, like communication is so important.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've got a 12, we've got a 7 or 8 hour time difference. But if I drop Robert a message on Instagram, you know, what is Douglas? Where is Douglas? You know, because you've got to remember, I'm UK, I'm London, you know, so it's like, I've been to New York, I've been to San Francisco, I've been to, you know, I've been to Houston, but these some little places I don't, you know, like Douglas or you know, other places like that, I don't really, you know, you can Google places and things like that, but just to get a feel of the place, if I just say, what's Douglas about, and then within an hour or two, you know, Robert replies and we move on with it, you know, and is as long as the communication's there, I think we can just, you know, it's really important to have good communication. So, and it's just a mutual respect, you know?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh, definitely. It definitely sounds like y'all found that shorthand. You know what I'm saying? The way I can hear the way both of you are talking about it, and y'all have hit that place in the book where it's just clicking. You know?
Yeah.
I'm super lucky. I mean, knock on wood, and I'll say I'm lucky, but I did have to work to find the right people. And that is a big part for any creator that's out there who's not able to illustrate their own book, is that you've got to find the right people. And some of that is investing money where money just kind of goes away and disappears up into the air, because sometimes you bring people in and you think you're going to get a page back or this and that, and you never get anything. And that's part of the business. I mean, Jerry, you know that. I mean, just what's going on here. But with Scott, it's just one of the big things, and Scott really brought this to chapter 3, and I loved it. And Julia's been able to do this too, is that while I am a comic book fan, I'm more of an art fan, and Scott's really been able to jump on this, and I think he's done some great things, because when I was out in LA for the LA Comic Con, a lot of people were commenting about just how the book is laid out. There's a lot of cinematography in a sense, you know what I mean? Even though it's not film, you know, it's paper, but we try to create these scenes where it adds like a depth. It adds a little bit more to the story, so that way you get a feel of not just the character, but where the character's from, why he's in love with this area, or why this area seems so traumatic, and so on. And yeah, I mean, Scott's been able, I think that's what's really going to be epic about chapter 5, is just the type of detail and the type
of blood.
Yeah. I was trying to reserve the blood. I'm trying to reserve the blood. Hey, we get more feedback from females than we do males. Okay, that always makes me feel great, because they actually love, you know, they love the story, because I mean, again, visually, the book is stunning, and it's because I've got 2 stunning artists working on it. And like I said, and Scott, what he's doing now, man, just the things he's coming up with. I just think, you know, visually, anybody who supports our project, again, Retribution, Kickstarter's coming up February 27th, 6 days away. I'll be catching up to Jerry there in the gray. I don't know how much your latest Kickstarter's added to the gray there, Jerry.
I tell you, man, I think this whole side right here is just from this latest Kickstarter of mine. I'm pretty sure that's where that come in.
It's tough. Yeah, it's tough.
People don't realize, though. I mean, really, Robert. I know you talk to creators and stuff like that, and you talk to these guys that are just coming in and like, oh yeah, they're so excited. I'm fixing to do my first Kickstarter, woo! You know, and then you get halfway in that first Kickstarter and you're like, well, how you liking it, man? They're like, dude, this is a lot of fucking work. This fucking sucks.
Yeah. It would be, and, you know, and Scott and I have talked about that, and then I'm sure you've talked about it, Jerry, because it's always like, do you want to provide your IP to a publisher? Do you want to get it out there, see if somebody would help back it? And you know, we've got friends, D. Hausner, who's backed now by a publishing company for Kid Nebula, which is fantastic. Our editor, Nicole DeAndrea, she not only is an editor for us, but she also works for Scout Comics. They publish her book. You know, she had an indie project that was out there, and after 3 books, they picked her up. And it's a fun book. I mean, it's a really fun book. And I don't know why I'm I can't remember the name. I'm gonna butcher it if I try to remember. But my thing that I'm so worried about losing, though, is that control of the visual process, because it's a real personal project here. I mean, this is something that I really, really care about, and I think the nice part is I really see it from Scott. I really see it from Julia. And I think when you look at what they're doing with the project, I don't ever want to lose them. That's the whole thing. I wouldn't want to go somewhere and say, well, we've got, artists are on staff. Well, I don't want to lose. Like, Scott gets it. And you were talking about that melding with the people who were on your team, Nicole, now Sarah. We brought her in as a content editor, and she's fantastic with what she can bring. But just the theme, the tone, how to emote the words on the pages, like Scott and Julia just rock it. And it just, I don't want to lose it.
Right. I tell you, I mean, I've thought about submitting some stuff, but I tell you, I like what I'm doing. I'm happy. I'm satisfied with what I'm doing. I think maybe down the road, once I get some more issues under my belt, and we'll see how it goes, But I mean, to keep that control, keep doing your thing. And then once you get to a place where, you feel comfortable, then, or even finish the arc, then take it to them and say, hey, I've got all these issues. Would you be interested?
Yeah. Yeah. No, and it's crazy because today I was talking about it with Scott. And we started laughing. Yeah. We just added another chapter to the arc. So plan was going to be 5. Then it grew to 6. Then it grew to 8. And then it was 9. And now we've got 10. And it's just, we're halfway there. Once we get 4 and 5 out, we're halfway there. But this thing just keeps growing. And I think so much of it is because of not only, just the responses that we get, but just Scott inspires me. Julia inspires me. Kath Lobo with the variant cover, Kevin King with his variant covers. I mean, Rodney Ford with his cover that he's doing. I've already got the cover for chapter 6. So that'll be at the end of chapter 5. I mean, we bring in other people just to add their kind of like artistic taste, and it just gets that fire. I mean, just keeps that fire burning, and you want to keep going.
Well, as an artist, we see, I see the Kath Lobo cover, I see the Rodney Ford stuff, and that inspires me just like it inspires you. Especially because we're on the same projects and things like that. Yeah. And when I see, Julia's pages, I'm like, not competitive, but then you're just like, let's, she's just done it. Oh, and I need to do a new page,
Right.
And,
right.
Yeah. It just gets that fire going.
Exactly. It's not really, we'll call it friendly competition.
Exactly. There you go.
But you need that, you really do. That keeps you from getting stale and bogged down in the book.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It keeps those creative juices flowing and keeps you pushing to try new things. You're like, oh, wow, she did this shit. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. Let me show you this.
Exactly that. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, and it's also with their art styles, with Julia's, it's always been there, and with Scott's that he pulled out of I don't know what freaking pot of gold, and has now thrown onto the pages. I mean, get serious. It's like you have to look at his work. Like what he does for Retribution is not what he does with his kids. It's just and I don't know many artists that do that. I'm not an artist myself.
Not many.
Yeah, and for him to be able to just do
Adapts,
this, adapt it to the comic book the way we're doing it. He understands it has to be gritty. It's got to have a traumatic tone. It's got to have a violent tone. It's got to, and there's just all these things to it. And then all this other stuff is happy. It's cool. It's like it's what you see on T-shirts and keychains.
I'm telling you, I mean, honestly, my opinion doesn't amount to a hill of shit. But I'm going to say this: the best artists, I think, do that. They're able to adapt their style to fit whatever they're working on. An artist that continues to draw the same way day in and day out, he's not growing. I mean, you got to continue to push that envelope. If your art is looking the same every issue, every page, I mean, come on. I don't want my art to look the same every
Yep.
page. I want it to continue to progress.
Exactly.
I want to look back on my old stuff and say, well, fuck, that wasn't worth a shit. You know, that's how I am, you know, and I think the good artists, that's what they strive for.
Well, to throw the kudos back to you, though, I mean, when you look at End of Days, and again, we talked about this. I mean, just a great project. The way you've got it thrown together, I love the little, like I said, Jack the Ripper type of feel to it. But your artwork, from what I see on your page and what especially you bring across through End of Days, I mean, it just that again, you're doing what I think every artist really needs to try to achieve when you are drawing that visual medium, is that you've got to be able to articulate, and I hate saying the word emote, but it really is. You've got to emote those feelings, that story, and you've got to get it out. And I think, on End of Days, which you can get right now on Kickstarter.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug. Yeah, I think you've been able to do a great job with that. And I think the artwork suits the story so well. And that was the thing that, I worried about with Retribution. And that was one of the hard things that when we went through this and went through it with so many different artists at the beginning, it was just really trying to find that vibe, because we're, as Scott knows, and the readers will know soon, it's like we're amping things up. I mean, we're opening up a whole nother world to this story, and that is just going to take us into this crazy place. And so I need artists like Scott, I need artists like Julia to be on this project. And now the only thing is, so Julia, when I met her, was a true independent, and now she's doing work for Marvel, and she's doing work for Dark Horse Comics.
She's getting busy.
Kevin Keene, who did parts of issue 2 and has also done variant covers on all 4 issues right now. Well, he's for the trade. We're doing a variant cover. He's now basically totally in bed with Todd McFarlane over there at Image. So now it's like, where's Scott going to end up? And Scott's going to have to still do my side work. like I've got to deal with Julia. They cannot leave me.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm still a baby. I'm still. I mean, I've only been full time for about 20 months. 22 months. So I was working full time in hospitality, management before I sort of went, no, let's go for it, and I've only sort of been doing it sort of 22 months full time. So I'm still new to, drawing fan art in posters.
20 months full time, folks. 20 months, and look at that artwork.
It's incredible, man.
I mean, look at his artwork, guys.
But the after we finished issue 3, which was the issue there, I was still thinking about Retribution, not even knowing that we were gonna, I was gonna be an artist on another issue, or we literally just finished issue 3, and then I thought to myself, I just want to redraw a page and just push the envelope a little bit. So I said, Robert, I said, look, I'm just gonna redraw any page from issue 3, and I'm just gonna put my own kind of, I'm just gonna try a few things, and I tried a few things, and then Robert was just like, this is incredible. No, this is next level. So we took the page we did for issue 3 and just made it next level. We're doing some small changes, and then I was like, okay, well let's go then. So issue 5, we're just going in that direction where we've just kind of like, pushing it a little bit more, not playing so safe, and I think that's really worked, especially with the issue 5 script, because it's a lot of there's a lot going on. It's a real fun script, and I think you need to push the boundaries in the panels, and
definitely.
I'm having so much fun doing this issue. I'm literally just really enjoying this issue because it's just so much going on. It's incredible. It's so good. I don't want to spoil anything, but so I'm just gonna say there's a dude that he's on a page and he doesn't have a jaw. Well, he does have he does have a jaw. He does have a jawbone, but it's just not attached.
Yeah. When that happens, I mean, that's horrible.
You need your jaw, right?
You gotta have that, especially if you want to chew, talk, pretty much any of that.
That's it. So no more spoilers. No more spoilers.
Yeah, it sounds like you really captured lightning in a bottle. So now it's just time to ride the lightning, guys. It sounds like you really got a great thing going, all of it. Y'all got to that place where everything is just it's just clicking. You know, everybody.
like it is good because like I was drawing, I was going through a few pages and I thought to myself, I just got an idea for a page. It just came to me and I sent it to Robert. I said, look, I've just done this page. I don't know if it fit in the story. What do you think? And it was kind of like a different direction to a few of the other pages. And Robert was just like, "Oh hell yeah, we're sticking that straight in." But you know, it's just it's nice to be able to just do things like that and be creative, and not be scared or not be intimidated to send it to the because it's Robert's baby, it's Robert's story,
Right.
But for him to sort of allow me to have that creativeness just makes me thrive as an artist on a project. And it's just a fantastic thing. The worst thing as an artist is when somebody literally tries to draw for you, through words, and it's just like you cannot be creative, and it's just the artwork feels
Just
clunky.
Yeah,
exactly.
See, I'm thinking it's more like Scott's wife tells him, "Hey, our microwave went out," and Scott's like, "Well, if I can come up with 2 more pages, that'll pay for a new microwave. Let me send this over to Robert."
Microwave? That's on the bottom of the list. Diapers, you call them.
Yeah, exactly. Right now, it's all about diapers.
Diapers, bottles, all that good stuff. Yeah, clothes, because they go through those like that, because they grow like little weeds, man.
That is the truth.
So tell me this, guys. How many? You said 10 issues. Is that kind of where you're going with this first arc, or you popped up? First you said 5, then you said 8, then you said 10. Where are you guys kind of looking? Are you going maybe past 10 or?
Well, I've already told Scott that I know what the second run is going to be. So I already know what that is. Now it's about getting there. And I already know the end to get there. Like, I already know how we're ending this first run. The issues have become is that I believe, and Scott can talk about this, but I think we're just, like I said, this other little world that we're opening up, the characters that we're going to have in it, and just alone visually. And let me make sure there's no lightning that's going to strike me. I'm not lying. When I look at the characters that we're creating, I believe they're like, we're talking about just these truly elite type looking characters. And I think we've got a really good idea of like how we're tying these characters in, what they're going to be, and the way the story is going to go. And so I think that may grow it. I'll just say this: no more than 12. Okay, it's like
I'm not going to hold you to it.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you mean, man. I said 12 on mine, and now I'm looking at 13 because I've already done the prequel. That wasn't counted in the original.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. And we haven't touched the prequel. I mean, we haven't even touched that. And somebody, again, at the LA Con, some person, he's like, "Oh, you've got to do the prequel," because I kind of told them like what was leading up to our story. Because and you know this, Jerry, as you go, as you're trying to figure out like how do I pitch the story, because it's all in here, but like what's the depth behind it. And that was one of the things I started hitting on. And somebody said, "Well, you got to do the prequel." And I'm like, man, we're busy enough just trying to figure out how we're going to move forward with what we got, But I'm a huge sci-fi fan, and Sarah Nelson, who she's got her own project, Wolf versus Wolf, that'll be coming up, but she's our content editor. After 3 years, if somebody said, "What is Retribution?" I would say Retribution is a supernatural sci-fi / horror crime series. And that's what we got going, And so it's something that we can really build on. And the crime series and the other characters, I mean, we know about Mateo. He was introduced in the last chapter. He's introduced in chapter 3. So obviously there's something there that's going on. Right. We have been hinted at as far as the other character coming in within the last couple of chapters. So we just got other people. I'm like, Scott, I don't want to say too much.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Because we haven't, we've teased things that we haven't even touched yet. But it's just, as you see this process, it just really invokes so much, creativity. And that was the thing that with this character that like Scott was like, "Oh, I got to get a whack at this." It's, for me, it's like one of the coolest. Okay, as much as I love our main character, because I love R. Okay, don't get me wrong. Right. I love Chi. I love what we came up with, Mateo. this new character is just so wicked. It's so wicked. And I just think we're going to have so freaking much fun with this person moving forward. And that's why, yeah, we're looking at chapter 6 is going to be something that's really going to go into that person. And you know, yeah, we're gonna have a lot of fun with that one character.
So, you know, your character, it's interesting with R, you know, the direction you can go with him. You know, doing End of Days, it's centered around Gabriel to start with, the relationship with Gabriel and McCoy. You know, and then I started introducing these other characters. I brought in John, I brought in Victoria, Dr. Victoria Adams. Then I brought in, I got Lucifer in. I had to bring the devil in, and that character, oh my God, man. I find it, just like you said, it's amazing. You want to center around around your main character, but then you see all these interesting angles that you can take with these others and kind of twist the story a little bit and just throw everybody off kilter. And it's amazing how it just happens organically. You know,
Oh, yeah.
your story kind of becomes alive almost. It's crazy.
Yeah, and I went from pitching this as, well, it's really based off a love story, which it is. I mean, at its base root, it's a love story, and to where it's grown out. And if you don't mind, Scott, sorry, Jerry, I do want to hit on one thing, because I know we talked about End of Days, which again, you can get live on Kickstarter. We talked about Retribution, which will be on Kickstarter on the 27th.
Definitely.
Please join us there.
Links are down there. Get on it, guys.
But the man who is across the pond, again, Valero has gone to print. And if you don't mind me asking, Jerry, have Scott just give us a little bit about his first book, which I was lucky enough to purchase and I'll be receiving soon. Talk a little bit about it, just Scott, and this little world you're able to help co-create and obviously do all the artwork on.
So originally it started where I was just designing characters, because I was loving just designing my own sort of characters, and my partner's, you know, long black hair, beautiful looking lady. And I decided that was my base for the character. And I just was playing around with some ideas, and then just came up with Valero from the design of the character, from, you know, just playing around. I did some facial tattoos. So she's got like viper fangs under her eyes, things like that. And then she has like this, not like a lasso, but it's not like a Wonder Woman. It's more like it's a strength, so it's really strong. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like a true serum. It's like it enhances her strength. And then I thought, okay, that's cool. So I designed some more characters and stuff like that. And then I was building this idea of like, you know, the whole galaxy is destroyed. There are 3 ships floating around in space with 3 different species on them, 2 aliens and 1 humans, right? And then they find this similar to like an orb. And then it's powering these 3 planets. So they settle on 1 planet each, and then they share sort of resources and things like that, and build up their economies again. And then what happens is 1 planet decides to try and steal the orb's power, and then obviously the other two banish it, and then that becomes the villains of the story. And then you have the 2 other races, 1 human, but they're modified humans now, because this orb's granting powers to everyone that's born on the planet. So that's where they all have their different facial tattoos when they're sort of not baptized, but similar to a baptism, and they all have their own sort of facial, and it gives them their own power and their own sort of facial tattoos. And then I've got a deaf character in there, so sign language. I've got I did about 25 characters, and I put them all on my Instagram. And funnily enough, there was 1 character that absolutely eclipsed all the rest in terms of fan feedback, and that was one called Marher. So she was African American, but she's like an alien, silver hair, you know, really sort of tight sort of leotard, and just this huge axe, like a huge intergalactic axe. And I'm already planning her sort of, when Valero's over 5 issues, that'd be complete story, and then I'm looking at spinning off and doing the Marher, like you said, you're doing a prequel. I'm going to spin off and hopefully do an origin story for that. So for her, so. Yeah, it's exciting. So it's sort of.
It sounds like an incredible world you're creating.
Yeah, it's based in sort of. I wanted to go space because I didn't want to have to be confined to drawing, skyscrapers in New York. And I wanted to just go. If I want to draw a round building that's floating in the air, then yeah, I'm going to draw. A building that looks like a donut. I'm going to draw a building that looks like a donut. It's my comic. Yes,
I am.
Yeah.
Well, how? Go ahead, right?
Oh, I'm just trying to find a photo. I'm not ignoring. I'm trying to I was going to try to show a photo of the characters that he's talking about because I know that it's all over Scott's page. Actually, one of the funny things is
they're all on there. Yeah.
I don't know about your area, Jerry, but do you guys have Valeros out there at the gas stations?
Oh God, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Scott tells me a couple of years back, he's like, "Do you all have a company out in the United States called Valero?" I was like, "Yeah," because at first his comic was called Valero. But he had to change it to Valaros.
There was an E. I had to change it because we don't have Valero petrol stations over here, gas stations over here. Yeah. So,
yeah, we've got a pile of them, especially in the South.
Okay, let me try to angle this right. I got just too much dang light that's reflecting off this thing. There we go.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's the one with the big axe. Yeah.
Well, Scott, where can I get a hold of this, man? Where can the guy? And tell the viewers where can we get a copy of it?
Well, the Kickstarter finished actually a year ago, but I had a problem where so I had a problem where first of all I tried to do it all on my own. I have this writer that wrote it for me called Anna. She's they them so they work for Mad Cave Comics. Have you heard of Mad Cave?
Yeah, definitely.
So they do work for them and stuff now, but fantastic job. So I didn't write the actual comic. I gave the idea to a writer, and they wrote it for me. And then the Kickstarter finished, but I lost. I pretty much finished the comic, and my iPad. I didn't have enough storage left, so it didn't back up correctly.
Oh wow!
And then I had to redraw the whole issue. So I've done that, which is it was complete now, but it just took me longer than expected. So the Kickstarter is actually finished, but I can definitely send you over a copy for sure. You can send me your details, and I'll send you one across.
I'm sure do it.
Got some extras.
Shoot, I can PayPal you, whatever,
Oh no, for sure. I'll send it.
Dude, shipping is ridiculous across the pond. I'm gonna send you some money, brother.
Dude,
Robert, I'll ship it with Roberts, and then Robert can ship it to you.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll work it out. I'll get the info, man.
Are you in the same state? Or are you? No.
No, he's kind of right in the middle of the South of the United States. I'm more East Coast. Well, actually, Southeast, because I'm in Mississippi. I'm down towards the Gulf of Mexico.
Ah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Where I fell in love with Cajun food when I went out to I just lost it. I just lost it in my head. What is it?
New Orleans?
They have
New Orleans?
No. Because I drove through Mississippi to get to Alabama. And I said Mississippi. Well, basically that whole region. I went out to Mobile, Alabama.
Mobile, yeah.
Yep.
My brother lives in Alabama.
Oh wow.
Really?
Yeah, he lives in North Alabama. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
He went
Tuscaloosa?
Not Birmingham. Huntsville, Alabama.
He's out by the prison.
Exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. So my brother went to college over in the States and never came back. He met a girl and
hey, those Southern girls will do that to you, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
so
I've been to Alabama, I've been to New Orleans, I've been on the Mississippi, did all that.
Awesome. So, are you planning on coming to the States anytime soon, or you got any con coming up over here? Or?
Well, I did have plans. Obviously, think plans change. We just had a new baby and stuff, so we're planning on popping across to Paris or somewhere like that for a first holiday, or Spain, because that's it's a 30-45 minute flight and you're in Spain, so it's Europe so close together. And then hopefully, yeah, when he's a little bit older, popping across to the States again. Yeah, for sure.
Well, I think one of the things I've talked about with Scott, because I really want to do this, and also with Julia, is if I can
she's Italy, isn't she?
Yeah.
She's
if
Milan.
if I can jump the pond and go out there, and if we can either do like a London con, or I think we talked about a couple that were in Italy as well, because Scott
Paris is a big one as well.
Yeah, is if I can go over there, and we're able to. We've got, I speak Spanish, Julia speaks Italian, we all speak English. It's like,
hey, you guys have it going on, man. Y'all can hit it from 3 different fronts.
Oh, yeah.
Take over Europe.
Yeah. Just literally take everything over. Yeah.
Yeah, but I want to go out there to meet them. And Scott and I've told him about this for like more than a year now. And it's something that I want to do, is just do a con over there with them, because just, again, Julia's been there obviously from the very beginning. Scott's been there, been with the book from the very beginning. And
right.
You know how it is, Jerry. You do the first one, you don't know if you're even going to do a second one,
Exactly.
And now, again, it's like I've got parts of the other ones written. I just throw this and that and so on. And, now it's all about how we're going to do the next ones. Like, so that's why, it's just like how all of us indie creators are. It's all in the hands of the Kickstarter backers.
Exactly. I mean, it really is, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love to do this from now on, but I mean, I'm at the mercy of the backers,
Yep. Yeah.
So
it's one of those things to where, I mean, it really, when I first launched the first one, I talked about a passion project, and now it's more than that. I mean, it's a life, it's a way of doing things, and
right.
I would love to say that I'm raking it in this and that, but I mean, I've not gotten out of the negative from the very beginning, and it's just because it's a little different.
I don't think you ever do, man.
Yeah.
I really, honestly don't.
Yeah,
it's all about the passion.
Yep,
it really is.
And I think that's the biggest thing, is if for people who are out there, it's like if you believe in what you've got going on, you got that Kickstarter out there, as I've learned, as you move through the process more and more, I mean, you're going to get out of it what you put into it,
Exactly.
And you've got to, hopefully believe in the project. I think that's the biggest thing, is that I feel like the people who are involved, Scott, Julia, Nicole, and now Sarah, who, I mean, that's really the team. And, obviously we have the variant, we have Kath Loba, when Kevin Keane says he won't leave us, and he'll keep doing variant covers for us, which is fantastic. But, it's really about just believing in the project and believing in where it should go, and, offering that feedback, and even talking a little bit about the story. And like I said, what Scott's able to do, and Julia's able to do, when they just bring, they bring out these pictures and say, hey, I want to do this. And I'm like, well, go for it. Let's see what it looks like. And then boom, you're like, wow, it just adds just another level to the comic.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. And I tell you, man, I love your passion. That's what I've noticed from day one. The first time I ever seen you on live, Robert, just your passion for your story, man. It helps fuel me. It helps push me. We all we stay in communication. We pick each other up when we're down. Mm-hmm. It's like I grew up with you guys. I tell my friends at work, I said, I've never met these people, but it's like I grew up with them.
It's a second life. I mean, it really is a second life.
Absolutely. It's like, we talk about our dogs, and we talk about our
exactly.
kids, and it's like, you're going to come to my wedding. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's just a different, like you said, it's just a different kind of way of life. It's just, it's more than just like a job, or like a, it's just, it's really good that we're, you make friends with people and stuff. And I do that. I try and do that. Like with every sort of project I take on, I make sure that I know the person first, and, and I think that's important, because, I'm working on a few projects, but everyone I'm working on at the minute they're just fantastic people, and I'm just blessed that they're giving me the opportunity to create and bring their words to action, into comics, and I'm just thankful for it.
Yep.
Well, I've got a question for you. Let me hit you with this, Scott. What's kind of your dream comic? What do you enjoy drawing the most? Is it sci-fi, where you can kind of just
Retribution?
go anywhere?
Retribution.
I knew he was going to do it.
If I say Retribution, does that mean I get to draw 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and a prequel? Do you know what? Like, I think like when I first started drawing in my comic and stuff like that, I mean, if you look at my Instagram page, I'm full of color, bright colors,
Right?
You know, like, and I love the vibrancy of just like punching you in the face with a bag of Skittles, you know, or
Right.
That's an awesome analogy. That's awesome.
Do you have Skittles over there? Do you have
Hell yeah!
Oh, definitely.
Hell
yeah, yeah.
Taste the rainbow, baby.
Yeah. I love the vibrancy of stuff, and then I feel like, you know, I don't want to just do that, you know, like I want to do kind of like different projects, and you know, I'm doing one about zodiac, you know, zodiac signs, like they're all like they have their own sort of their own clans, and then they've all got a champion. And then these champions are like dressed as knights and all, and then they fight each other. And that's completely different to anything I've done before. But it's just something that I want to sort of push the envelope a bit, challenge myself, draw a lot of armor and things like that, you know. But then Retribution is I love the fact that it's kind of you know, it's tones, it's blacks, it's greys, it's just the vibrancy of the blood and things like that. And it just visually it's just more, it's exciting and it's different, you know.
Right.
You don't want to just keep drawing the same you know, colorful, vibrant Marvel.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You've got to find. We talked about it just a while ago. You've got to stretch yourself. You've got to push yourself. You've got. If you're doing the same thing over and over again, you're not growing as an artist, and you're not challenging yourself.
Exactly. Exactly. You know, and I've got another comic I'd love to do is something sort of cartoony. You know, a bit more sort of like where you can push the shapes of buildings and you can push the shapes of, you know, and just a bit more sort of fun to it and things like that. So, but yeah, I like to adapt, and I think that I'm quite you know, good at adapting to styles and things like that, which is, like you said, it's quite rare. But I just find it.
Yeah,
I've always really been able to do it since I was in school, and then I shelved it a lot because I took up what you call it, soccer. I did. I played football for years, and I only started picking it back up again about 5 years ago now. So yeah, just because I just love it, you know, I just absolutely love it. So yeah. But here's a fun fact for you: I don't own any comic books.
Oh wow!
I didn't even know that.
Wow!
No comic books at all. No. I watch the movies, but I don't actually own a comic book. People think that I own all these comics. Yeah.
My mind is blown right now.
Yeah, I didn't know that, Scott. We never talked about that.
I bought a couple about a year ago. I bought a few a year ago. But you can read a lot of them online and things like that.
Yeah.
But the thing is over here, like it's not. I don't want to say this is mainstream. If you're in London, you can grab a comic book anywhere. But if you're in sort of like I live in a small village, it's hard to get you know, unless you sort of order online all the time and things like that. But yeah, I don't really kind of like. I've never been like a comic book collector, so to speak. But I'm more sort of movies, you know, the MCU and DC and things like that. Yeah, that's how I sort of got into it. Now I'm starting to venture into the comics, but I'm still new to comic collecting and things like that. So yeah. There we go. I've got a couple of Funkos, and that's where I'm at. So I'm
telling you right now, me and Robert can line you up on some stories that would blow your fucking mind in comics, man. You think the movies are awesome? You ain't seen shit.
There are some damn good writers out there. But, you know, it explains a lot, because I think Scott and I, you know, we do those little Retribution lives on Instagram. We're not big time like you, Jerry. But anyway.
Far from big time.
Yeah. But I remember I asked Scott, like, who were your influences? And the influencing names, I was just like, I'm thinking, you know, Jim Lee. I'm thinking McFarlane. I'm thinking Simonson. I'm thinking, you know, Romero, Senior, Junior. It's like I was thinking, and it's so interesting that it's not Scott's background, and yet
it's all the newer, the newer age comics. So like, you know, butcher names. Jorge,
come on, man.
Simone Demille, Iban Coelho. Like all these people.
But I mean, okay, let's all agree. Jorge is that guy who says, "Does anybody have it better than me?" No, you damn good-looking, talented more than anybody
He,
else on the
he
planet.
got it all,
Bastard.
dude. He got it all, man.
He is
Absolutely.
filthy.
I would call him the modern day Jim Lee. Honestly,
Yeah.
it's amazing how quick he's grown in
Yeah.
just say the last 10 years. I mean, 10 years ago, nobody really knew Jorge. You know, he had just jumped on. I think he was doing. He'd done a few things with DC. And if correct me if I'm wrong, Robert, I know you stay on top of this stuff like I do. I want to say it was 10, maybe 11 years ago. He had just jumped on Justice League,
I think
but he was
I think
only
you're right. I think
doing
you're right.
every other issue.
Yep.
And nobody knew who this guy was. And I remember picking up that first issue that he done. And I was like, who the fuck is this dude? I mean, oh my God, man. I was seeing shit that I'd never seen before. He's just one of those guys that he took the medium and just turned it on his head and said, hold my beer. Let me show you something.
Yeah, exactly that. Exactly that.
Well, we had this question the other night that I had with Dee, and I'll ask you this, Jerry, and I'll ask Scott. I mean, again, Scott, we'll find out. But I said, if anybody could do a variant cover for your project, like who would you want to do that variant cover? And I love Jorge, and obviously Walt Simonson again is he's my he's my king who brought me in. But if I could get anybody right now, the one guy who I love, and I'm going to say his name wrong, is Kael Ngu, and he does a ton of covers. He's just basically a cover artist, and it's Kael and then NGU. He did a bunch of Daredevil stuff, Iron Man stuff. He did some incredible Gunslinger Spawn. And I think I told you about him, Scott. He did some Gunslinger Spawn covers.
Yeah, I follow him. He's incredible.
Gee, incredible. Yeah. Again, you got if you don't follow this guy, Jerry, you got to follow him.
I'm gonna have to check him out.
Oh man, I mean, he is those covers. I mean, ask Scott. I mean,
that's who I would pick. His cover talent is just incredible. It's insane. Yeah. Absolutely. He would be definitely up there, yeah, for sure.
Just like the way that he works his tones, the way he's able to just like really add like a depth to the page. I mean, we're talking 2D, dimension, but almost feels like 3D. And it just, again, his covers, there's a stupid word, emote so much attitude. And that's what I love about his covers. And he just, anytime I can get one that's not incentive and is going to cost me $30 or $100, I grab one of his covers immediately and it goes into my variant box.
Yeah. I like another one just popped in my head. Belen Ortega, she's fantastic as well.
Oh yeah. Big time. Yep. Yeah, she's big time. All right, Jerry. So who would be your guy?
Oh my God. We're going to need a list. Man, oh my God, there's so many.
One choice. And
God.
It can be old school, it can be new school. They're like, okay, we want to do this epic end of days cover. We got this variant. Jerry, who do you want to bring on?
I'm telling you, man, as much as I love Jim Lee stuff, I'm gonna have to go Silvestri, Mark Silvestri.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I see myself more in that vein. I love Jim's stuff, but Silvestri, I mean, I've studied both of them. I've done art, I've done art studies on both of them. And Silvestri, my style we have similar styles. I know they don't look the same, but he's very sketchy. Yeah. He just like me. If you know my work, it's sketchy. I mean, I don't have a real finished look like these guys out nowadays. I have more of that scratchy, sketchy look, but that's what I enjoy doing. I don't want it to be just cookie cutter. I don't want it to be like it could jump off the page and turn into a cartoon. I want it to be gritty. I want it to be, you know what I'm saying? And it has to be Silvestri. Definitely.
It's interesting because I was with Dan this weekend and the Dan Prize, Bigfoot Nose Karate, and we were going to a couple local shops because we're trying to get Retribution out there more, trying to get, hit Bigfoot Nose Karate out there more and so on. And Dan picked up a couple of Prophet comics and I remember Prophet as being something that was launched by the infamous Rob Liefeld.
Yeah.
Everybody can have your own opinion, okay? but he showed me what's his name, Don Slatt or
Stephen Platt.
Stephen Platt. Stephen Platt.
They call him Platt. Yeah, I remember.
Platt.
Hey, he was actually at Fan Expo with me in New Orleans.
I was shocked at some of the pages that Dan was showing me. I was like, what the hell? And you think about that image era when it started. You think, I mean, obviously, and McFarlane to me is like, if I had my Mount Rushmore, McFarlane's up there. Obviously it's I'm trying to think who else. Obviously Walt's up there, but Walt's such a different artist.
Completely different
type of art he does. But I think about those guys, and they were all so incredible. But I just had not. I don't know. In my head, I had not thought about Stephen Platt. Had not seen, and then he showed me his art and just the way of the pages. Like those issues were so. You open up and you have this 2-page spread, and it's just a guy jumping just right into your face. You know what I mean? And it's just like so different than what you see so many times when you go through and it's just panel pages. And I think that's one of the things that Scott, I think, has been able to do and been able to bring with Retribution are these different ideas. And I think that's something that, Hal, I'll ask both of you all, because you guys are artists, as you're writing that script, as you're reading the script, Scott, when do you have those moments that you're like, hey, you know what? I read this, but what would be really cool is either to kick this page off with just one big emotion or to end it with a big emotion. Like, when does that instinctual thought process kick in to where you're like, hey, you know what? We need to add this extra page because I think we could do something really cool with it.
I mean, all over, to be fair. Walking the dog, in the shower.
He's absolutely right. Yeah.
Making a pizza, all over the place. I mean, I do a part-time job where I do audits, and I go and I audit restaurants and supermarkets, do that. And it's a boring job, but a lot of it is driving. So obviously I'll sit on a page and I'll drive, and when you sat at traffic lights and I'm just playing over ideas, and I'm just looking out the window, and then sometimes they just marry up and you just get this idea and you just like bang, and it just comes to you. And I think like the idea, I don't want to spoil the page I just showed you yesterday. The idea of how we paneled that page was just because I was sat there watching the TV in the house. It just hits you, and then you're just like, whoa! Like you get it from all over. Inspiration is everywhere, and I just think that my mind kind of just works that way, where I'll just, be in places and stuff like that, and it just be, oh, that'd be a great, So when I draw a comic, I don't go page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4. I'll take 5 to 10 pages at a time. And then all of a sudden I'll just be like, oh, that'd be good for that panel on that page, or that'd be good for this page. And then I sort of sporadically work over 5 pages at a time. Which is a weird way to work, I suppose, but it works for me. It's just the way it just kind of lands.
I tell you, I'm one of those old fuddy-duddy 1 page at a time guys. But I tell you, he's right. I mean, it comes from everywhere. I mean, it really does. But you'll be sitting there, and I'm the same way. I play it like a movie. Artist is like a director. You're sitting there, you're looking through the camera, and you're saying, well, I'm going to shoot this way. And then you draw it out. And, it's just like in writing. It's organic. Something will come to you, and you're looking at your script and you're saying, okay, well, what if I do this? What if I show it from a different angle? And that might take you down a whole different thing, and then you start playing with some sketches, and you're like, oh, hell yeah, I like that. Fuck yeah, I'm keeping that. Let's go this way. And then you veer off and you add 2 or 3 more pages, It's crazy how that.
Yeah. You could also, so for example, if you've got a script for a page, and I look at it and go, what is the most important panel? What's the most important part of this page? And then I build the page around that. And I start with that. How am I going to show that emotion or that action sequence, or how am I going to show that off? And then I sort of frame it with the other parts of the page, sort of like, the scenery and that kind of thing. Yeah, that's how I look at a page as well. But then sometimes you know, like if you're doing that on every page and you're making every page sort of like pop with action, I don't feel like the reader gets. I mean, I'm not really, like I said, I don't read many comic books in terms of at the minute. I'm still new, but I feel like every sort of 2 or 3 pages, you need to just take it down and have a simple panel page, just to sort of give your eyes a rest, that kind of thing, you know. And whether that's right or wrong, I don't know, but that's like
I agree with you 100%, Scott, and that's what I try to do with mine. I might go 2 or 3 pages of action, or maybe more than 2 or 3 pages, but I want to have a good flow. I don't want to just jump in the car and put my foot to the floor and just stay there. You know, I want the reader to be able to take those breaths, you know, in those times when they need to, and do that character building and kind of slow down a minute and catch your breath and really zoom in on the character and do something that really makes you connect with that character with just through conversation or a look or whatever it takes, you know. But you don't want to just, whoa, you know, barrel through the damn thing.
But that's the great thing about how Robert writes, you know, because Robert understands that. And
you know, it took you long enough to get there. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. The first answer should have been, well, when I read Robert's script.
It's just perfection. It's perfect. It's exactly what I want to do with comics. Yeah.
Yeah.
It took us an hour to get there, but he got there. Right?
But no, it's you know, and he sets the scene for it, and you know, I think it's set, like I said to you, it's set in some fantastic scenery and stuff like that. And it just gives the reader a little bit of breath after a bit of action. You get to see some nice, you know, good scene and stuff, and it really balances it well. And like I said, it sort of like helps me the way I do the pages, because it's just the way, like the way it's written helps me, you know, design my panels and things like that.
And you know,
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Robert.
I just want to say one thing about the book, because I think that's one of the things that Scott, myself, Julia, what we get to play in is partially what I say is a factual fiction world. Well, we're tying in experiences, we're tying in crimes, we're tying in things that have actually happened that not only did I cover through my time period as working as a reporter, you know, throughout the Southwest, but personal traumas that I've experienced, personal traumas that have been shared with me, and things like that. So I think that's one of the cool things that we also get to do here, is that we get to tie a little bit of this, you know, like I said, factual fiction into the comic, to where it just gives us, I guess I hate saying it this way, a deeper, but even with a darker look at like humanity. I mean, and that's been part of the comic as well. It's just like diving into these things that go on and happen, and present them in, I think we try to present them in a real way and not like a glossed over. I mean, and I hate to say it, but that's just kind of the violence in there, because when we talk about the comic being mature, it's just because of language and just because of the scenery and what we're presenting it with you know, as realistic a viewpoint as we can, as we're doing this, and we're illustrating it. You know, Scott's illustrating it, and you know, I'm writing it, and so on.
Yeah, sorry, issue 5 might need to go up a rating. Is it? Can you go higher than
NC-17? You got to show your damn driver's license to be able to buy this comic. Or be accompanied by an adult.
Yeah, exactly.
That should be written. That should be written on the front, right?
Yeah.
That's the best thing, when people come up at signings or at Comic-Cons and I see that little 9-year-old boy come up and I'm like, no.
Yeah. And the first thing I tell them, I tell the parents, I said, look, this thing was created for adults. Mm-hmm. I said, I wouldn't sell it I wouldn't let my kids buy it when they were little if I were you, but hey, this is your kid.
Yep.
You know? And I might lose buyers like that, but that's just that's where I'm at, you know. I mean, I try to put it on Front Street with people. I'm not going to be like, hey, kiddies, you want some violence? And
have you ever heard of Jack the Ripper?
Yeah. Jolly old guy. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I'm telling you, fellas, this has been a real treat. I can't thank you enough for your time. The ones watching and the ones that'll be watching in the future, right down here in the description, be sure jump on that link. Mr. Robert Garcia has his next. It's going to be the combo too, right? 4 and 5 will be done together in this Kickstarter. And Scott, I always get it, Scott, right? There we go. That's your artist. That's your writer and creator over here, Robert. Jump on this thing, guys. I've backed every issue, and I'm going to back every issue until he's completely through with this story because I absolutely love it. You've heard the passion that he's brought forth. I mean, you don't get this from Marvel and DC, guys. You just don't. I'm sorry. Jump on this book. Go down. The Kickstarter hasn't started yet, but it will. And he needs you now. He needs you to sign up right now to the pre-launch page because let me tell you something, guys. Kickstarter has an algorithm just like every other social media. You're a needle in a stack of needles. So help Robert get. Let me put it like this. I almost went a different way. Okay, so this is probably going to sound very dated, but you older folks, you remember the little hand claw, the little grabber, and you pay the money to get the animal, and it was buried down in a machine slam full of animals and other bullshit, and you had that one thing that you wanted.
It's like Toy Story.
Exactly.
And Woody, is it Woody or Buzz?
It was Buzz. I think it was Buzz. So what you guys will do, you're going to be the grabber. When you sign up to this thing, you're reaching over and you're pulling Robert out of this pile of all this shit and bringing him up where everybody else can see his stuff. So help us do that. And I probably butchered the hell out of that. But anyway, you're a needle in a stack of needles. Let me put it that way. Yeah. So let's help bring Robert's needle to the top of the pile where it can be seen.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And again, don't forget, Scott's got a 3-week-old son. If you don't buy this book, we don't know if he'll make it to week 4.
Yeah. Diapers are expensive.
Exactly.
Yes.
Formula is more expensive.
Yeah.
Clothes. Hey, and babies cry a lot anyway, but they definitely cry when you don't get the diaper changed on time and you don't get to feed them when they need it. So help out. Get this thing back for diapers and formula so Scott can get some sleep. So that baby will be well fed and have a good clean butt.
And don't forget, you've only got a couple of weeks left for End of
Days
live on Kickstarter right now. I was trying to go back to the 70s there. Oh my God. But yeah, again, we just, thank you so much, Jerry. And again, we're launching.
It's been a pleasure, guys.
Yeah. February 27th. Thank you so much.
Yep. You'll be there with us, Jerry. Scott's going to be there with us.
Definitely.
Actually, next Tuesday, we'll be having fun launching the comic, goodies for the first 50 physical backers. Got a lot of different things on there. We'll be doing trades, but we're also going to do individual comics, chapters 4 and 5 that you can only get on the Kickstarter. So, like I said, hopefully we get that thing going. I'm
super jazzed, man. I'm ready for it. Yeah, all you guys, you sign up right now. Just do it. Don't even think about it. Just sign up. Look at there. Look at there. There you go.
All right. Hey, Jerry, thank you so much again, man. It's been
a pleasure. Can't thank you guys enough for your time. And one more thing, guys. Hey, it's absolutely free to give us a thumbs up on the channel. And it's absolutely free to drop a comment. Let us know how we're doing. And like I said, get on those links, guys. Robert needs your help. And we need formula and we need diapers for Scott's baby. So y'all help get
Clean butt. Clean butt.
Clean butt.
Guys, that's a show. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. I don't know how you could have because I've had a blast. Anyway, that's the show. That's it. Catch you next week.